Hello everyone, welcome to the team's press conference for the 2022 Monaco E-Prix of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. First of all, let's start with a question for the three of you. The Gen 3 car was revealed last night. Initial thoughts, starting with James?
Yeah, so a really important time for Formula E, a new generation car. It's an exciting time. And I think the car definitely represents a new exciting chapter for Formula E. Some really interesting features in the car. The no hydraulic rear brakes is going to be definitely a challenge, and it's something exciting to get on top of from a technical point of view. Some real relevance there in terms of technology as well. The size of the car, I think, is really a great approach. It really supports even better racing, with cars that are a good size to race closely. So I think that really addresses that opportunity really well. And obviously a step up in power. If you ask any Formula E driver right now, 250 kilowatts in qualifying, is that easy to drive? And it's not. And add 350 kilowatt and a front powertrain for regen, it's going to be an exciting car to drive.
Thank you very much. That's James Barclay, of course, from Jaguar TCS Racing. Moving on from Alex Hui. Again, what are your initial thoughts with the Gen 3, and how do you think the performance stats might change the racing we see here in Formula E?
So obviously, I think the car looks better than I expect from the initial image, and is really, you can see in the real car is compact, and that's the aim, to provide better racing in the street circuit. And as James said, the car is without hydraulic brakes in the rear because of the front regen. I think that will be one of the biggest change for engineering setup and how the driver deal with the car. So I think most of the team, we're going to have the car rolling in the next 1 to 2 months, and we can't really wait how it works. But that will be a huge challenge for all the teams to get this up running before the next season, with all the global supply chain issues that everyone is dealing with. But I'm sure FIA, FEO, and all the teams are working really hard together to find the solutions. And I can't really wait for Gen 3, where we put so much effort in it. And as everyone knows, and we have a lot of restructuring in the last 2-3 seasons. And Gen 3 new regulations is a reset for everyone. And so we put a lot of effort and preparations ahead. And in the moment, in season 7, season 8, we're trying our best to rebuild the team, to build up the infrastructure. So we are ready. I can't really wait for us to put up a stronger fight for Gen 3.
Good to hear. And finally, Tommaso Volpe from Nissan Edams. Thoughts?
Well, not much to add. Definitely is a great challenge, but it's an opportunity to show the expertise on electrification by all manufacturers involved. What is very attractive for us is the fact that the level of performance at the same time of regeneration, so efficiency, is the highest since the start of the sport. And what is impressive is what they communicated, that 40% of the energy needed for a race will be regenerated. So is unique in motorsport. So it's great to be in Formula E in this moment, in this time of moment, to showcase the potential of electrification.
So as teams all committed to the next generation of Formula E, the Gen 3 car, how is the development of the powertrains going ahead of next season?
Well, the car presents additional challenges, all at the same time, from regeneration, added on fast charging technology, more power. So definitely the development has presented many challenges, I guess, for everyone. But at the moment we are on track, and at the moment it can be officialized, the date of delivery of cars and everything, we will do all together as a group, as manufacturers, FIA and FEO. And
Alex, the NEO developments?
Our development for the new powertrain is all on schedule. Obviously, there is quite a lot of changes between the fundamental technology is very similar, but it's coming from 250 to 350 kilowatts. So I'm sure that there will be different concept on the grid, and who knows who will get it right, who will get it wrong. So I think this is also a quite interesting challenge. But up to now, I think we are quite happy for our schedule, and everything seems to be on time, or there's some components got some supply issue, but they are not a big problem in the moment. I think we are quite happy for the schedule. Obviously, we expect the car to roll out sometime in June, and I think most of the team will do. And so yeah, we'll see how it works. But in the moment, we are also doing a lot of update the development for in season 8. There's a lot of knowledge that we would like to apply as much as possible between Gen 2 and Gen 3. So it all looks pretty positive.
And James?
Yeah, so we've started the powertrain development for this car over 2 years ago now. So when you look at it from that point of view, we're actually quite a long way into the process. We're at the latter stage of that development cycle, right from concept through our early kind of development, and now the next phase is moving towards the on-track testing from June. So yes, for us it's about continuing some of the philosophies we have and pushing some bold steps in other areas. And what's exciting is the relevance we're seeing in Formula E to our future production cars, and that's we're starting to really see Formula E become a proof point, a real laboratory for EV technology. So that's something which we're seeing and we're excited by. But yeah, for us it's about taking all our know-how and learning from the last few years and evolving that into our first Gen 3 powertrain. And we're excited to get started with the on-track testing. And that's when obviously a lot of the work also really starts. We've got a short window of time now to do that and then to finally homologate. So it's a real pinch point, but one which, I think it's going to be exciting once we get to track and start testing with a new car. And I know we're at that point, having been working on it for some time, ready to start actually having it in the real car and get going with that.
So as 3 manufacturer teams, what excites you the most about the potential with the data and development that could filter down to road vehicles?
It's across the board, and if you look at the powertrain design, it's everything from packaging, right? The size, the weight is all fundamental, but it's the materials you use and it's how you make the whole system work together really coherently and really efficiently. So there's a lot, and it varies in all areas. Software is a great example. We demonstrated that with the I-Pace with a 20-kilometer range increase from our learning and our software development from the race team. So it is honestly across the board, but we always say software is almost like the aerodynamics in Formula One. Software is our equivalent, and that's constantly evolving. So once we homologate the powertrain, there's all the learnings in that hardware, absolutely important and really relevant, but then it's the ongoing gift is the software learning, how we improve and how we compete. It's such a competitive championship that you've got to continue to really evolve and develop through your season as well.
Same question for yourself, Alex?
Obviously, FI has set a very tough target for performance for Gen 3 cars. So the car is going lighter for a big margin, and at the same time, you've got the fun motor, fun regen. So I think everyone can imagine how challenging the packaging and the weight will be. So I think one of the major challenges for us is getting the weight to the target, and there is also a trade between high RPM, low RPM, heavier and lighter motor for different efficiency trade. I think that is probably one of the biggest challenge in the powertrain side for in car development. Another thing is without the rear brakes and the BBW in the rear, and now you got the regen and under braking in the front, understanding how the car behave in the vehicle dynamics side will be one of the major challenge for everyone. Obviously, you can do as much as simulation as you want before you run, but I think for the braking things, and also we got a new tire supplier, and you can't really get a real answer before you really run the car on track. So I would say getting the weight to the target, getting the sweet spot right, and also understanding the fun regen, under braking, how it affect the car vehicle dynamics will be a major challenge for us.
Okay, and Tommaso?
Well, for us, more than the hardware design, as we said, is more the software, the control system in general. The vehicle efficiency management is something that is more complex to understand due to the double regeneration and the front axle. So the hardware design, at the end of the day, the moment you have specs, is something you do, and then you need to find your compromise between weight and efficiency. But what is very complex, what is going to be very complex to manage is the overall vehicle efficiency and the control systems. You need information about the tire grips and things, and these all have a strong impact on the race format as well. The moment we know the race format, this has a strong impact in the way you have to use the car. So this is probably the most complex area that we need to address well to be competitive.
Okay, James, we know that as of next season, Jaguar will be providing Envision with a powertrain. How closely will you work with the Envision team to develop that powertrain, and then how will that relationship continue once it's launched?
Yeah, so a new, if you like, a new experience for us, which is something we're looking forward to, and you know, obviously that relationship was announced quite early in the process, but one we've already fortunately a great relationship together. So absolutely for us in the development phase, they have, you know, there's a testing allocation for the customer team, and that's something we're looking forward to working with them on. They're a great racing team. You know, they've done a phenomenal job competing against the big manufacturer teams as well, and it's shown what a great racing team they are. So I think from our point of view, working together will make us both stronger. That's the aim, and I think it's opportunity for us also to. You know, we've seen it happen this year with manufacturers that have customer teams. It's 2 more cars, it's 2 more sets of data, and we've seen that come to play in some of the races over the last season and a half. So that's what we are looking forward to from our side, really fostering as well. So yeah, it's an exciting start.
And Tommaso, Nissan recently took full control of the team. How did this development come to fruition, and do you see any further changes within the team?
Well, not at the moment. Definitely, we wanted to acquire the team also to enter Generation 3 in full control of the performance, also from the team operation point of view, not just for the car development. And what we can see is probably the strengthening of the coordination between the racing operations and the car development that before was good, but being a company independent, of course, there was always something to manage. So we don't see any big changes coming up in the short term, but definitely the ambition is to have a consolidated synergy between the car development and the racing operations.
Okay, thank you. Now going back to Rome, Alex, question for you. Neo scored a double points finish in the race in Rome. Obviously a great weekend for the team. How do you intend to keep this momentum and form going into Monaco and beyond?
On Rome Sunday, it works quite well for us. We start in the back. We committed for a safing strategy. I think the safety car came out at the right time, and we were happy for the first double point finish of the season. And but for me, I think sometimes you can't really control the result. The result is have a big, the luck play a big role of result in Formula E. For me, I think we can't really control, you know, if we're lucky or not. But the main focus for the team is focus in improving the performance, because between season 7 and season 8. After the pandemic, we changed the regulation for having 1 homologation per 2 seasons. So we don't have any manufacturer testing between season 7 and season 8. So although, like us, we are playing a catch-up role in terms of performance, and it is quite difficult. You got some idea, you know that something can be better, but you don't have testing. So that's also is slowing down your progress. So our major focus is focusing in understanding the car, keep improving the performance, keep improving the team, the process, because all our focus in Gen 3. So our major focus is still do it like whole season, like a team rebuilding, development, a lot of software development you can carry on to Gen 3, like energy management, motor control, all these things, they're applicable on Gen 3. So I think our focus is keep up our team building, restructuring, learning process. Result, let's see if you know, sometimes you have a good result, but not means you did a good job. Sometimes you did a really good job, then you can have really bad luck. So we can't control that. So we are having full commitment, full push.
You mentioned there about team building. Obviously, at the start of the season, you had the introduction of Dan Tickton to the team. How has that been going? How's the relationship been working so far?
Dan is actually settling down with the team quite well. You can see in the first race already in his pace is very close to Oliver, who had lots of experience in the championship. So I think Dan's get used to how a Formula E car behave, how it drive with the tires, the chassis, the aero is quite different from what he used to in Formula 2. I think he deal with that quite good. The main thing I think he would let you take more time is the race. I think he is now improving from race to race about understanding the energy management, the strategy. I think that is quite different to most of his previous racing career. So yeah, we think we're quite happy for what Dan is doing in the car. So we believe that he will going to have a strong second half season.
Excellent. Tommaso, naturally, at this point of the season, I'm sure you'd like to have a few more points under the team's belt. What's your plan in changing that and kind of picking up from here, getting maximum points?
Well, we know that we are far from the top teams at the moment, and the car is the same as last year, so we try to recover in some areas, but the car fundamentally is the same. So the objective is obviously to show a positive trend compared to last year and over the season, so to gain points here with both cars, hopefully, and to try to gain at least 1-2 positions in the championship by the end of the season. Yeah.
Would you say that there's a strong emphasis into making sure the Gen 3 start is strong, or is it still very much we're eyes focused on this season?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, we want to show an improvement in Season 8, but definitely the strong commitment of Nissan is pretty much on Generation 3. This is also why we purchased the team, and we know that changes don't happen overnight, so the big focus is on Generation 3.
Okay, and final question from me, James. Double race win last time out in Rome, incredible, congratulations. Really light up the season and bring Jaguar TCS Racing back into the championship hunt. Mitch was phenomenal, performed very well last time. Another win on the cards, I'm thinking maybe a redemption story from last season?
Yeah, I am smiling underneath the mask. Rome was a phenomenal weekend, and just testament to the huge amount of work that everyone's put into this. We know we have a competitive car this season. We quite hadn't shown it for one reason or another, and being able to really kind of execute the weekend really well in Rome was just great reward for everyone, and gave us a lot of energy as we move forward. But Formula E is the most competitive world championship I know of, right? And it's 22 professional drivers, incredible teams, and you can't be complacent. In fact, the trend to repeat success is very rare in Formula E. So our point of view, just keeping our heads down. We enjoyed the champagne in Rome, but we were quite quickly straight on to the task at hand here for Monaco, and that's going to be our focus. So yes, it's always nice to have a weekend like that, and we'd love to come here and put on a great show and try and fight for points, podiums, and hopefully a win. But you can't underestimate how competitive it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really, really amazing race here tomorrow, but I do think there's going to be a lot of people really in the running.
Excellent, thank you very much, gents. Open the floor to questions. Anyone questions? Hazel?
So it's a question for James. You referenced earlier that you don't know the race format yet, but it's very important for developing the car. When are you expecting to find that out, and will it be before or after you've taken delivery of the chassis for the testing?
Yeah, the expectation for that is that will come a little bit later on, and it's quite important that although the car has had its testing through the FIA manufacturers, the common manufacturers and suppliers, the manufacturers themselves, once we put our powertrains in with the common chassis, the common front powertrain, and the common battery, it's all really critical we validate that with our own powertrain now. So before we decide sporting regulations, we really need to kind of make sure that we've had the cars all running, and then the data that's generated from the on-track testing with the manufacturers will be really helpful in terms of just shaping and getting that format right. So that's the right kind of evolution as well, just to really validate with our own testing what the FIA have seen, Spark have seen, and Williams have seen on the battery side, and that's what we'll then kind of be able to overlay with our data, and together that informs enough information, I think, for the FIA, Formula E, and hopefully with ourselves to help shape a great new sporting format.
Any further questions? Yeah.
Hi, Toby Bloom, eFormula E. Question for Tommaso. You just talked about Nissan acquiring EDAMs, and I know there's not going to be much change for this season, but I wonder if the structure of the team will change and how it will change for the coming seasons.
Well, we acquired the team 2 weeks ago, so we are doing our assessment, and I don't have an precise answer on how to change the organization of the team. But the principle, as I said before, is that we want to make sure that the talents in the team, which we believe are very strong, work in a perfect synchronization with the talents we have on the car development. So we believe this is, in terms of process, this is where we were missing something before. And so the key objective is that, to create like a very synchronized overall organization.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the questions. James, Alex, Tommaso, thank you very much. The drivers' press conference will be very shortly, so don't run off anywhere.